why I said perceived financial freedom is because many of us have become income affluent. Okay. And this is where we act as if we're wealthy because we've gotten our cash to flow in. The challenge is when we haven't built the muscles to hold the financial container, we create leaky containers. It's almost like you have a bucket full of water and you have all these holes in it. And if you don't fill the holes because your muscles, your financial muscles are weak, we need to get you to a place where you're actually no longer having perceived financial freedom, but actual sustainable financial freedom. What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to talk about your perceived financial freedom. I think many of us feel like we have some financial freedom, but yet not in what I would call people are in what I call the hybrid model, which is the majority of people in the world. Julie Murphy here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell. Why? Because I am going to help you get to a life that you absolutely love. So share this. Let's financially heal this world because, gosh darn it, every single one of us deserves abundance financially, in our relationships, in our work lives, all the above. But most of us don't shift because financially, we don't know how to. No matter how many zeros that you have, you probably feel on some level stuck or some level unsatisfied or on some level like just biting at the bit. You're like, I don't know exactly what it is, but I gotta get there. And you don't know what the block is. And so you're starting to look for some like esoteric things that will actually get you to where you need to be. All right. So why I said perceived financial freedom is because many of us have become income affluent. Okay. And this is where we act as if we're wealthy because we've gotten our cash to flow in. The challenge is when we haven't built the muscles to hold the financial container, we create leaky containers. It's almost like you have a bucket full of water and you have all these holes in it. And if you don't fill the holes because your muscles, your financial muscles are weak, we need to get you to a place where you're actually no longer having perceived financial freedom, but actual sustainable financial freedom. So how do we get there? Right? So one, I need you to make sure that you're starting to create some space in your life, meaning financially speaking. So when you create space, so you have this income that's coming in. I always talk about most of us do not want to actually not live the life that we're wanting to live. Anyone with me on that one? Go on, give me a comment below that you absolutely know that you don't want to change the life that you have on some level because you like spending or doing or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, and most of you probably don't want to sit down with a financial planner because you actually feel like that financial planner is going to tell you, get your shit together. You need to do X, Y, and Z and stop doing X, Y, and Z to get yourself to where you want to be. Most of you out there watching this video are probably not wanting to talk to somebody about your finances, not good or bad, but because you kind of know you're not doing exactly what you're meant to do, but you kind of don't want to really hear it from somebody else, right? That's okay. Again, no harm, no foul. This is about just recognizing the fact that if we can really see that we really don't want to change the lifestyle that we have in what the freedoms that you do feel like you have because you're working hard, you're showing up for your family, you're, doing your best on all fronts in your life. And you're like, I just need to keep going. I just need to keep doing this. Well, if we don't start to create some space, then at some juncture, you're going to pop. It's going to affect your health. So this is why creating space, the first step in shifting from perceived financial freedom to sustainable actual financial freedom is the most important part. But we have to do it in a manner that creates a safe container. Now, what do I mean by a safe container? A safe container means that on an emotional level, whatever the recommendation is for you, that we're not triggering your limiting beliefs that are stuck here in your amygdala. That is triggering your I'm not enough, I don't feel worthy, or I don't feel loved. If anyone that you were to see on a financial front goes to trigger one of those three things, that's no longer a safe container. So you shut down and then you go, I ain't doing that because of boop, 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 boop. Now, many of us around the world have become income affluent, meaning that we're generating more income than any generation prior to us. But it's about what we're doing with that income that's coming in, which is making it so that we're not building the muscle that we need to get us to this next place. So the second step is first we need to create the space. And the second is we have to build the muscle. So let's talk about how do you create the space to build the muscle? Well, to hold that safe container to not trigger your not enough button, your not worthy button, and your I don't feel loved button, we have to do that with what I call newfound money. And that could be money that you looked at your cash outflows and you say, you know what, I don't really need these subscriptions to these things that I have online or these apps I have on my phone. And, I just found like 40 bucks. I'm just using this as an example. Take that 40 bucks. That is what I call newfound money. You decided, I don't really want that anymore. I'm choosing it from a place of empowerment, right? I'm not saying you can't do that because you have a budget. No, 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 no. Take that word budget and kind of throw it out of your vocabulary because I need you to come from a place of empowerment, not scarcity and lack, where somebody else outside of yourself told you, you can't do that. I'm going to slap you on the hand. I'm going to tell you that's a bad deal. No, I want you to come from a place of empowerment and say, oh, I'm no longer spending that 40 bucks. So now I'm going to intentionally put that somewhere else. This is how you move from this place of perceived financial freedom to sustainable actual financial freedom. Because once you've created that $40 space, now we got to build the muscle with that $40 space. And you build the muscle by funding it into the intentions that you want to create. Now, some of you may not have goals that are actually set up with what I call your short-term, midterm, and long-term, or cleaning up your financial past, which are your debts, while living in the present moment and planning for the future. So this is where you have to drill down to. And by all means, I have online courses. You can go to juliemurphy.com, get on my email list. I've got all kinds of tools that I can help you drill down further into that are at very affordable prices. But once you create that space, we have to start to lift you up, right? Meaning we have to clean up your financial past while living in the present moment and planning for the future all the time. So the third step is building the muscle. Then you have to actually set it in motion. You have to take your money and energize what you want to create in the world. Meaning, most people say, I want to get out of debt. I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off my car. I want to pay off my student loans. I want to pay off that. Every time I ask this question to anybody, whether you're a multimillionaire or you have $10,000 or less in the bank, there's always a debt goal in there that people want to pay off. The challenge is you stay in perceived financial freedom because you don't actually do anything else but try to keep paying off all those past choices that you've made. And this is where we have to interrupt the process. You're on this cycle. Years ago, I heard this financial professional out there in the marketplace, and she said, you are not allowed to actually do anything with this money that you're paying off on your credit cards until you pay them off. Well, then you feel like you're in jail. You know what? No one wants to feel like they're in financial jail. That doesn't feel good to anybody. But that's what our debt levels are creating for the world at large. Our debt levels. And I don't care if it's good debt or justified debt. Well, I did this because of da. in the present moment, any debts that you have, create limited choices for your tomorrow because you're on the hook for what you have to pay. Now, I'm not saying that you don't use debt as an instrument. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying do everything with intention. So when some of those things start to add up, other newfound monies, as an example, you pay off your car. Well, it's time for you to become your own bank. It's time for you to actually become your own bank and save that monthly payment into a savings account that is just for your car for the next purchase. So you have half the amount of debt that you had on the next car. Or you built it up enough and you actually pay cash for the next car. And then you're now fully empowered because you're not borrowing somebody else's money to live your life. This is how we move from perceived financial freedom to sustainable financial freedom. Can you see that gap? Can you see how one is from more of a place of empowerment and one is from a place of where you have more lack and scarcity and keeps you on the treadmill to where a bank controls your life? So I would really urge you to take a look at creating space by finding that newfound money. It could be a pay raise, could be a bonus, could be a tax return, could be looking at your expenses and deciding, do I want those expenses anymore? And how would I change them to create some space? Then you want to build the muscle with that newfound money. You're building the muscle by really choosing to set things in motion. Those muscles are not going to get strong unless you do it every single month. And don't BS yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because if you don't put those intention funding accounts on autopilot, just like your paycheck depositing into your checking account, guess what? Left to human devices, you will absolutely negotiate yourself away, go back to your subconscious patterning with all the justification and the reasons in the world, and you don't even realize you're shooting yourself in the foot and creating your suffering patterns all over again. So, let me help you through this process. You absolutely deserve the life that you want to live. Go to juliemurphy.com. Get on. We are supporting you. We are creating community. I also have group coaching programs that I'm going to start. We're going to start one up here in the summer, finishing up my spring one now, and join us because you deserve to live exactly the life that you want to live. And if you like to do it on your own, go to awakenyourwealthbook.com. You can get my book for free. You just have to pay for shipping. I've got a workbook, an online course, everything and anything to help you to get you to a life that you love because gosh darn it, you deserve it. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye.